Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. Well, our focus has been women over 40. And today we wanted to talk about anxiety and depression. And that's the topic that has been affecting a lot of millions of women out there for different reasons. So Keya is with me. She is a quantum healing expert as well as a doctoral student in natural medicine. So we are going to talk about how quantum healing can help. Thank you so much, Keya, for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor. Thank you.
So I'm going to let you take the lead. We don't understand what quantum healing is. That's number one. And number two, how does it help? And number three, specifically for women over 40.
Okay. So I get this a lot lately in terms of the aspect of quantum healing. The beautiful thing about quantum healing is that it allows you to tap into your own energy to be able to access the inner healing from for different things that we go through, in this case, anxiety and depression. A lot of times we're seeking remedies outside of us, and quantum healing teaches us to tap into the healings that come from within. So from the aspect of anxiety and depression, a lot of times what we don't realize is when there's a lot of anxiety, it is simply the energy is moving too fast, and we need to find ways to slow it down. Adversely, when we're dealing with depression, this is the energy within the body that's moving too slow, and we need to bring that to a balance, or increasing the activity in the energy so that we can find a balance in terms of depression. So when we think from the standpoint of the mind, anxiety is normally the thoughts and the energy in the mind moving too fast, and it's needing us to help it to find a balance, to bring it to an equilibrium or bring it to a slower state. A lot of methods in terms of anxiety is definitely you want to work with the energy and not work against it. So as you may be familiar, a lot of times when we're feeling anxious, we want to make it stop or make it go away, and we get agitated because it's not going away. But a lot of times this energy is wanting you to help it to move, and so it's good with anxiety to exercise or to actually move with the energy to help it to release itself. Anxiety comes from us overthinking, things, how things could be, or the fears of what could happen. So when we have an overabundance of something, a lot of times we just need to pour a little bit out of our cup so that we can bring it back to a balance. If you have a cup of coffee, we have an automatic timer to stop it so that the cup does not overflow. And anxiety is just the energy beginning to overflow.
Okay, so now we understand that part. So the quantum healing, how does it start interjecting? Like it is, like
It
we know
starts
how.
with the mind. Yes,
Okay.
yes. We definitely want to start mentally in terms of the way that we think, or practices such as meditation is an amazing form of tapping into quantum healing. A lot of with quantum healing, once you start to expand, you want to get with a practitioner that can help you to learn additional modalities to be able to strengthen or extend your practice. But definitely starting with meditation is a beautiful place to start. It's not about stealing or stopping the mind, because a lot of times we think that meditation is making the thoughts stop. And it's not we don't want the thoughts to stop. We just want to be able to learn how to work with the thoughts. So if we're thinking about, especially women over 40, I know I just recently hit 40, and things are so different. And when you get to that space, you have different concerns versus before 30 when it comes to life. And I want to make sure that I accomplish certain things, or am I doing enough, or, just all of these thoughts. So when these things begin to come, we don't want to see them as a method of either, telling us that we're not doing enough or making us feel bad about ourselves. It's more of like a blueprint of how we want to navigate from this point forward. So when these thoughts of anxiety come in, I love to say, I honor the fact that you're here. I want to be still enough to hear what it is that you're trying to say to me so that we can work together to achieve the goals of my life and not make me feel as though I'm rushed for time to get these things done. So sitting in meditation is, a lot of times for me, meditation can be just having a journal and just sitting still for a moment. I like to do this as soon as I wake up, because that's normally a lot of times when anxiety hits, right before we start our days, right as we're getting up or right before bed. So just taking a notebook and a pen, having some instrumental music, preferably different frequencies. If you're familiar with energy frequencies, 453 hertz is really good with clearing the energy or balancing the energy. So 453 hertz is a great frequency to listen to because it helps us to bring stillness. And just sitting with yourself, and when the thoughts are coming, when you feel the anxiety, ask yourself, why am I feeling so anxious? And really listen for the answer, because a lot of times we're really good at just pushing away the feeling and not really identifying why it's here. Everything that we feel is here to help guide us in some way. So why am I feeling so anxious? And begin to write those things down. Because again, we want to release the feelings. If the feeling of anxiety is within us, then it feels trapped within us. But once you start to release it and write it out on paper, now that energy is finding a way to get out, and you're not holding it inside. So asking yourself what the anxiety is stemming from, listening to your spirit, listening to that inner voice within you to really hear what it is, and being honest with yourself, writing it out. Once you write it out, I like to go through the list and read everything off aloud as to what the issues are. And as I say it, as soon as it leaves, I visualize it like this air bubble, and it just bursts after I've said that issue. So say my anxiety is stemming from feeling like I haven't accomplished my goals, or I'm running out of time in terms of accomplishing my life goals, or I'm not a good enough mom. We'll write down the issue of anxiety. Say it's, I don't feel like I'm a great mom. You write that down. Once you've completed your list, you go back to the top, you want to read it. The first thing is, I don't feel like I'm a good mom. Once you say that, as soon as it leaves, once you get it out, visualize it like being in this bubble. And then you want to see it dissolving. See that I'm not a good mom dissolving. And once it dissolves, say the opposite in its place. Give it a positive reflection now. So I am a great mother, or I'm doing the best that I can as a mom. And that's really all that I can do is my best. So we want to respin the narrative and give it a more positive viewpoint, so that anxiety is able to find rest, and realizing that at the end of the day, we're all just doing the best that we can with what we have. And as long as you're doing your best, you're doing good enough.
Okay, so the other question I have is hypnotherapy, right? That is also part of quantum healing.
Yes.
Do you want to expand a little bit on that?
Yes. So of course, with hypnotherapy, you want to make sure first and foremost that you are seeing someone who is licensed or who is well practiced in this area, to make sure that it's done properly. Hypnotherapy is us being able to place you in a state of hypnosis where the subconscious is able to come to the forefront, because a lot of times when we're navigating through our day-to-day life, we're operating with the conscious mind at the forefront. So the subconscious is where we hold most of the stored trauma, or we store most of our memories and everything. Hypnosis allows us to tap into the subconscious and allows the subconscious mind to come to the forefront, so that we can delve into those deep-seated issues that you have tucked so far away that you don't even remember what they are. With hypnotherapy, we're able to go, so I do what is quantum healing hypnotherapy, or past life regression is another form of that, where we're able to go in, we tap into those deep issues. Because you're in this hypnotic state, we allow the subconscious to open up and tell us what's really going on. And then we work to recreate or reprogram the energy surrounding those experiences that are causing you issues in your day-to-day life.
Okay. And then so you said an expert intervention is very important, especially for hypnotherapy. Self-hypnosis is not recommended, right?
I wouldn't say it's not recommended. I personally just feel that it's best, especially starting out, to have someone guide you. My concern is sometimes stemming back into certain parts of the mind and not being completely sure with what's happening there. They do have some guided hypnotherapy forms online that you can listen to as well. So of course, this is someone who is well trained or licensed in their field that can provide you with the hypnotherapy. But just to guide yourself, and not, it's kind of like moving and not really having a sense of direction, I wouldn't recommend that.
Okay. So for self-help, the things that you recommend is the journaling. That's what I understood. And
Yes,
also the mindfulness meditation part. These are the two activities that, and of course, we're not talking about diet and so many other things, but we're just talking about within this arena, right?
absolutely. Yes. Definitely journaling, meditation, light stretching. Not everyone is huge, and people, I really think that people underestimate the work and the intensity that goes into yoga sometimes. So I think it kind of scares some people away, but yoga is a beautiful form of meditation, of sorts, like a physical meditation that allows you to be able to just get the energy moving, and if nothing else, just get up and move, because a lot of times when we are feeling anxious or depressed, we tend to want to stay and kind of sit in that energy. Allowing yourself to get up and move sometimes just for 5 or 10 minutes, when you come back and you revisit the situation, is not as powerful as it was before you started moving. So take a walk, um, you know, get up and turn on, maybe 2 songs and dance around, but just get yourself moving so that you can give your mind a chance to just step out of the experience for a minute, because it can always feel extremely overwhelming if you're just sitting there and just allowing the thoughts to mount. It's going to start to feel overwhelming. So just getting up and moving.
So one of the questions I want to ask is women over 40, when they're hitting perimenopause, right? That kind of
Yes.
anxiety is different when someone who's just given birth, a postnatal depression, what we call that. So what is the tactics to handle a younger woman who's just given birth versus someone who's hitting perimenopause? The tactics would be same, or you would, you would say different type of tactics for both these type of women?
I would say they're similar. I feel that it's more important with a woman who has just given birth to have a greater support system. I think it's important for all women to have a support system, but I think for women who's just given birth, there needs to be a different support system that's able to deal with the types of hormones or the types of hormonal shifts that she is experiencing versus a woman who's over 40 who is experiencing a different form of hormonal shifts. But most importantly is having an amazing support system, because so many of us suffer in silence alone, because we either feel no one understands or no one's there. And I think we would really be surprised if we just were a little more vocal about what we're experiencing, that there would be so many women that can relate and that's willing to come in and create this support system around you as you're navigating through. But in terms of the holistic remedies, I would say that they are the same. A mother that's just given birth is overwhelmed because she's now dealing with the hormonal shifts, but also dealing with this new life that she probably has no clue what, how to navigate or what she's doing with that. So taking a moment to just pause, because again, there's this crying baby, there's the hormonal shift, you're trying to process this new experience, taking a moment to just really breathe and really asking for help so that you can have that time alone with yourself to check in with yourself from time to time to make sure you're okay. Also for both tiers of women, both younger women as well as older women, it's really good to just take a moment and, say for anxiety, to just have some passion flower tea or some chamomile tea to help to just calm and soothe and nourish and nurture the energy center as well as the hormones. And with depression, for example, we would want to focus more on maybe the peppermint tea or the chamomile tea that will help to stimulate the energy to get it going and moving a little quicker versus it being so slow.
Okay, well, this is a quick 10-minute session that we bring on a daily basis. I think you've explained it very beautifully. I want to open it up for questions from Suzanne. Do you have any comments, questions? You're welcome to unmute yourself or put it in the chat window. Any feedback, anything? Okay, I'm just going to pause for a second before we wrap up the session.
Okay.
All right, I don't see anything. Okay, anything else you'd like to add, Keya? Any last minute advice or anything else that you wanted to say before we wrap up the session today?
I think, yes, absolutely. women are definitely my primary focus, as I'd spoken with you earlier. And I think that is so important for us as women to remember that we are such amazing and powerful and beautiful beings. And a lot of times we're so responsible for everyone else. We must remember that we should fill up our cups first. Make sure that you're not pouring from an empty cup, because as we know, nothing's there. We're just trying to muster up something new to give when we don't have anything there. I just want to say to all of the women to make sure that each day you start and end your day with yourself. Before you are a mom, you are you. Before you are a wife, before you're an employee, businesswoman, you are you. And I can't stress this enough, to make sure that you find ways to do things that really honor yourself each day. Like for me, Mondays are considered me Mondays. I don't offer any business services on Mondays. I focus completely on myself. Today was an exception because I needed to be here. This was a beautiful opportunity. Thank you for having me. But every Monday I take the day and I just fill up my cup. Whatever I feel like doing. If it's nothing, I do nothing. If I'm in PJs all day, I'm in PJs all day. But I make sure that I fill up my cup, because I give so much throughout the week that I can't be good for anyone else until I'm good for me. So I just wanted to share that with everyone, and just that you're absolutely beautiful. And if at any moment you forget, just come back to this video and rewatch to remind yourself of how amazing and how beautiful you are, and you're doing a great job.
I think that's so beautifully said. We women, we never think about ourselves. We are so selfless, most of the women. We always are giving out to our friends and families and whoever, and we stop taking care of ourselves. And that's so important. And that's what we have decided as a company, to focus on women first. You know, from holistic therapies for women, specifically over 40 plus, you know, when they go through so many changes. And that's what we also decided to focus. So thank you so much for being there. Beautiful Monday morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
To everyone, keep supporting us. We are launching our programs specifically for women, as I mentioned. So keep giving us the feedback as you do, and keep supporting us. With that, have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Suzanne, for being there for us.
Thank you, Suzanne.